Alright, everybody. Mario at exactly 40. Final game, Super Mario Wonder. You know, there's an aspect of this whole thing, because it's changed, this attempt. Because initially it was like, I wasn't sure I was gonna make it. You know what I mean? I didn't know whether it was possible. And you know, because those early games, I was like, it's possible that I just won't be able to do it. You know what I mean? And I don't know, like Super Mario Brothers, the first one, I was like, what if this is much harder than I think it is? And, you know, I try and I just can't get through it. If it turns out to be a Castlevania 3, that I'm like, my God, I mean, I made it. Not to brag. I'm gonna brag about that one. I made it. But, whew, it was painful. It was not a foregone conclusion. It was not even a two-gone conclusion. It was like a... I don't know, man. Okay, I'm gonna go this way to start. But, this one's not one that I feel that way about. Certainly, at least in as much as like, well, I think I'm going to be able to finish the game. Whether or not I would be able to like defeat the whole game, I don't know. Defeat the whole game. But I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be able to like pretty much finish this. Blah. Blah. I just tried to throw my hat at that flower. Yeah, like Odyssey is probably another good example, right? It's like, that was a game that I was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to hundo percento this game, but I'm pretty confident that I can finish it. Oh. Ah! Not going well in here. Probably need this in this stage at some point, right? Because it gave me one. Yeah? Oh, okay. Oh. Oh, right. That would make that quite a bit easier. I feel like I'm not totally understanding how to use these blocks. And I'm feeling like what's going to happen is I will be made to understand at some point when I'm like, ah, I see. That's the danger here. Whew.
Careful.
Oh, you shut up. Be careful. Nobody tells Mario to be careful. Wah! Can't really walk backwards, so that kind of creates a problem in this stage. Because it's like whichever ones you're facing are the ones that manifest. And if you can't walk backwards, it's not like you can conquer them, you know, by looking the other way. These guys have taken on a very dog-like, you know, tongue-wagging, stupid look on their face kind of thing.
How did you?
Huh. There must be more going on here. Rargs. Or as I called them in Super Mario World when they made their debut, juice farts. Because that's what their thing sounded like, a juicy fart. Scorched area notes? Okay. Oh. I mean, I don't need it, but I might as well, right? What the hell? Alright. No. I haven't done anything with these little flags, which I guess I should at some point, right? These little standees or whatever they're called. Where I could place them so people can have like a halfway flag. Seems like a nice thing to do.
Go for it. It's gonna be all right. Get it? Just right.
Very positive messaging. It's like they were listening to me when I was talking about how I liked that aspect of Mario Galaxy. I was like, everyone's so positive. They're like, you can do it. And I was like, oh, this is nice. You have like allies who aren't helping you, but are confident in you. It's very charming. But I mean, it's a pretty cool grappling power-up's pretty fun. I don't think it's as useful for me as probably the jumpy one, but it's pretty fun. Which I gotta give some credit there. Because it's like, yeah, this actually is it just feels good to use. That's kind of another thing over of, like, the Mario games is like... control is kind of a hard thing to talk about when you're talking about a video game, but the controls in these games are all like great. I mean, they really work. Full turn burn. And this is a 4-star difficulty. Rumors of sunken ruins in the magma. Get him. Damn it. I thought that would work. Did not. Looks like I've got all the basic badges. Run! It does sometimes, I will admit, make it a little too easy that you can get the coins, die, and then still get that same coin again. I could certainly see making the argument for that, because, you know, when you don't have to survive, it does really simplify trying to get those coins. Because you can kind of, like at this point, you know, if you have 53 lives, just sort of be like, well, I'll just sacrifice a life and, you know, get the coin and we'll move on. Ah, shit. Oh, wait. I have it. What are the odds? I was hoping for something a little more earth-shattering than that.
Okay, just keep a cool head. Okay, just keep a cool head.
That's gotta be where the flower is, right? It's like, that's so difficult. It couldn't just be coins. It absolutely could just be coins. Think this works on these guys? Bubble is... Aww. Bubble's surprisingly powerful. No, I wouldn't just fall through that. Okay. Helpful, useful. I mean, who can blame him? It's like a nice little warm little spot. Oh! Got distracted by the, you know, leisurely Goomba being, you know, very chilled out. Okay. Let's think it through this time. What? It's a time limit, so just kind of keep on going. Let's see. It gets brighter as I get these. Huh? Whoa! Oh. I could just run into him. These blocks do. There must be some... I think one of the special things is like related to blocks. Was that a good move? Well, can I can touch these. without fear. It's like, can't I just touch this stuff? Lavally. Shit. I was taking a drink from a coffee cup, and so that Goomba slowly coming after me represented a legitimate threat. Oh shit. I was gonna drill him. Pew. Wonderful. That was kind of a longer one, huh?
Bye-bye. Here we go.
Been watching the magma. There's a lot. Bad news. Highly scientific. The level is rising. Oh, okay. Good thing our Flower Kingdom government money's going to that, I guess. I'm so tired. Money? Money, please. They connects to the palace? Wah! I just need one more. Damn it. Okay, well maybe it's time to fight this guy then. If that's what we must do, that's what we will do. A battleship here? Ugh. The prince is over it. He's like, really? That doesn't seem realistic that they'd manage to get a battleship in here. Oh, okay. Oh. Okay. Noted. Closin'. You don't want to get too far ahead, so you may find yourself in a situation where you could get a coin, right? You don't want to get behind, because that's when you get squanched, and then you die. And pretty fair that these giant fireball men don't get killed by my bubbles. You gotta be far enough ahead, right, to get that. Damn it! Got him that time. Laugh it up. Oh yeah, okay. Got one of these, huh? Well. This game definitely some of the easier mid-bosses with these things, these machines. Not the most intense battles. Okay, so now I could go up to the thing, right? Okay, so that's kind of down into there. Hot, hot, heat. Hot, hot, hot. Hot, 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 hot. And I think I should go up, right, and do that, and then return? Is that what I should do? Is this going to give me the royal seed, and then I could go on to the end? What's going to happen? I'll do my best to help save the deep magma bog. I know you will.
Got this.
Prince, I know. I trust you. You were my broseph. Not an ideal time to have gotten hit. See, so you can't be sure there's gonna be a, you know, whole ring. Ah, that was supposed to go up. Blick, blick, blick. Damn it. Whoa. Oh my god, okay. How does this work? Oh god. See, this is the sort of the thing I'm not a huge fan of, because what it's doing is it's making you do something that you've been doing, but it's changing up the basically the super basic mechanics of it, and that's kind of how the difficulty gets raised a bit. And that seems cheap to me. That kind of thing. Because there's no reason you have to be the sticky guy to do this stuff, right? This could be done as Mario. But they make it the sticky guy to screw with me. Alright, let's have another Bowser Jr. battle. These have been not super difficult, but interesting at least. I'm tired of playing with you. Dad's Big Bad Wonder is going to be way more fun than you've ever... Oh my god, that is not a good name for whatever that is. He's got that Power Rangers disease where he's like, I'm always going to start just screwing around and doing a very basic attack. And then escalate. And you're like, why wouldn't you just do this right away? Do you really think that it's like gonna work out for you? What's happening? Oh, I see. If I stand on one of their eyes, they move side to side. This is weird. Can I be below? Three! We watched this movie last night called, like, I can't remember what it was called. It was a documentary about these triplets who were separated at birth. And then it turns out they were part of, like, so it's pretty fun story. Because I was like, I'm about to tell you everything about it. But the way it's told is interesting because this guy goes to college. It's his first day on campus. He's a freshman. And he's like, so I get there and it's really strange because people are like, oh man, it's great to see you again. I didn't know you were coming back and whatever. And he's like, I didn't know what was going on. And he's like, people were like really friendly. And he's like, a couple different girls came up and just kissed me. And I was like, what is going on? Right? So he goes into his dorm and then there's like a guy who's like an RA or something who sees him and is like, holy shit. Oh, the poor prince. I want to see him change into happy. Yay. We did it. The final confrontation draws close. Will they save the Flower Kingdom and the whole world? So are we gonna go back upstairs? Or will this let me go down and do more fighting first? I think it's gonna take me upstairs. So anyway, the RA is like, I was good friends with this guy, Eddie, right? And was like, this other guy who came in, David, was like the spitting image of Eddie. And I don't just mean like they looked alike. I mean, it looked like he was the same guy. And then he was like asking him what his birthday was and stuff like that, and where he lived and everything. So long story short, they like drive to Eddie's house and confirm that this is two different guys, but they are identical. And you know, they have a fairly distinct look. And you know, there were some features of them that were very similar. Like they have these big meaty hands, right? These big sausage fingers. Oh, something's wrong. Too late. The Amazing Wonder. The Wonderful Wonder? I could muster up enough courage. Wasn't expecting anything like that. I don't like how confident he sounds. Like it's too late to stop him. But I bet we still have a chance. Let's go to the castle. Okay, do I go back and do the other Magma World castle? Or do I go into Bowser's castle? I'm gonna go into Bowser's castle. Because you know what? I know there's still Special World. I know there's this magma area. Oh no! Bowser ruined the Flower Castle. Castle Bowser. Epic wonder. Missile Megs? Let's stop this rampage. Okay. Let's do it. Mayhem. Never good. I prefer Aprilhem. So he finds out he's a twin. And then it's like, and then the story gets weirder. Because then some other, you know, lady is looking at the newspaper. And she's like, reading this story, you know, because this guy, there's a newspaper guy who was like, also, he's like, you know, we heard this story, and I was like, well, we got to confirm this. And he's like, and so, you know, I gotta charter a plane to fly out and do this, because at that time, if you worked for a newspaper, you could do things like charter a plane. We had the resources to do stuff like that. And I was like, what a sad world we live in, isn't it? But then, so he flies out and he's like, this twin story is true, and they publish a big story and there's some pictures in it. And then there's a third guy who, is like, I can't remember what he's doing, but someone shows him the newspaper. He immediately goes home. His mom is sitting at the dinner table, like reading the newspaper. And he's like, have you seen this? And she's like, have you seen this? And it's like the same story, right? Because both him and his mom were like, what the hell? You look just like these twins. And all three of them were adopted as well. So that, you know, adds to the probably sensical nature of like, oh, yeah, I guess that could work out that way, right? Tun 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 tun. Oh, what was that? Castle Bowser is not happy that I'm successing. you know, give him credit. He gave them beautiful rainbowy smoke. So they find out they're triplets, and they were separated at birth. And it's all, you know, it's kind of starts as like a feel-good story, right? Because it's like, oh, you know, they found each other. But then, you know, they start asking questions about like, well, why didn't the adoption agency tell us about this? So they go to this, and it's a very prestigious adoption agency, right? And the adoption agency meets with all the parents and is like, okay, so one of the triplets has this really nice dad, and all of them are like, oh, he's just like the nicest guy in the world. And he was so excited when he found out about the triplets, and, you know, was like really into them being a family and all that stuff. And so they go to this adoption meeting, and like the cutest thing is like, the adoption agency is like, well, we split them up because it's pretty hard to adopt out multiples. Twins is hard, and triplets is even harder. And this was in like the 50s or the 60s. So you're like, okay, like I buy that. But the one dad is like, we would have taken all three in a heartbeat. Like, you didn't even ask us. You didn't even tell us. And that seemed really weird. So then it turns out that what was going on is that this adoption agency adopted out a lot of kids who were multiples, and those kids, a lot of them were in a study, a twin study, and basically they wanted to answer a question of like nature versus nurture. So they're like, well, if they grow completely separately, but you know, we know that they share genetic material, then we can kind of answer the question, right? What is a bigger factor, nature or nurture? Now, I'm like, I don't know, medium on this stuff as far as I'm not the biggest, like, I do wish we could do a little bit more in terms of studies and stuff, because I do feel like, hey, I don't know. There's got to be a better middle ground between like you can't study humans and like you have to do these horrible things. And to an extent, I do feel like maybe it's cruel, but I do feel like, I don't know, if you had a twin and never knew you had a twin, how much are you missing in life? And maybe I'm wrong about that, but there you go. But, you know, on the other hand, I'm like, I don't know. Doesn't seem right. But where even I am like, I don't know, man. It's like, so you get to the point where you find out they were part of this study. They all are now aware they were part of this study. But the study is like all housed at, it's never been published. It's all housed at a library at Yale. And it's sealed until like 2060 or something. And by sealed, that means even the participants in the study can't see what's in it. And I think the greater implication or problem here is that the participants can't see what's in it, and that means also that there are twins who were studied, who were separated and studied, who don't know that they have a twin. Because there was another set of twins that came out of the woodwork in a pretty similar circumstance, and turned out it was like the exact same thing going on. So I think that's where, for me, even as someone who's like, I don't know if being twins studied is that horrible, but even I'm like, that's pushing it. Even I am like, yeah, not releasing that info at this point seems very wrong. You know, like, because why not? There's no harm that can come of releasing that info at this point. So, like, you might as well. But I think also, I don't like the idea that the library at Yale has this, and they're just like, it's sealed until 2060. And so the only way to get it was through this organization of Jewish Family Services. It was kind of like involved in the adoption somehow, right? And you had to get permission from them. And so one of the triplets calls on camera, calls this Jewish adoption or Jewish Family Services. And basically on the phone, you know, on the phone with somebody who, this person is basically like, so the triplet is saying, I have to get permission from your organization in order to view these records. I'd like to view these records, so I'm calling you to try and get that permission. And this guy is like, okay, I have no idea what any of this means or whatever. And the triplet is nice. He's not like a jerk about it, but he's like, all right, well, like, where do I go next? You know, like, how do I head in the right direction here? And the person's like, I don't really know. And kind of just leaves it there. And I was like, bro, like, why wouldn't you help him out a little bit? Just be like, you know what? I don't know, but let me find out, you know. I'm going to make some phone calls. Or, you know, send me an email and I will email you back, and regardless whether I've made progress or not, so that you know that I'm working on it. But it seemed very iffy as far as like whether this guy was going to call back or anything. And here's where it gets a little bit grosser. Is so the adoption agency is, I guess, a pretty famous and pretty like prestigious sort of adoption agency in the New York area. And so as these triplets are trying to get access to these records, they keep going to different attorneys to try and get the records, and they can't make it work. And what they find out is, you know, at some point somebody tells them like, there are a lot of attorneys in this office, or lots of staff in this office, who are trying to adopt, and they're with that service, and they don't want that, they don't want their connection to this you trying to get these documents and kind of making life hard for them. They don't want that to affect their ability to adopt. And you're like, okay, that's that's kind of fucked up, right? Like, got our Metal Mario 64 theme happening. Oh shit. Am I metal? I see. I need to charge up so I can see. So that's where it starts to get a little gross, I think. Because you're like, well, so you're kind of letting this adoption service hold over your head, you know, that kind of stuff. It's a little bit like, we're not going to sue this company because we are stockholders of it, even though they've done something horribly wrong, which I totally get. Like, a law firm can make that decision, but also, I don't know, man. It seems like what's happening here is clearly very wrong. And so it's like, maybe I would suggest, to be honest with you, like if I was working at a law firm, and maybe this is insider baby trading, but I think if I was working at a law firm and in the process of trying to adopt a child, and I discovered, I discovered that this was the kind of thing this particular adoption agency was doing, I think I'd probably be like, maybe I'll go with somebody else. You know what I mean? Maybe you try and adopt the baby from not the place that was like separating twins at birth, and I think probably profiting from it in some way. Ew. I want this bullet to come get me, and then maybe make a platform that I can stand on, so I can go in this pipe. That's not how that works. Okay. Noted. Ah! Ah! I don't know. I was kind of feeling like, doesn't this... I know you're trying to adopt and like that's not easy and, you know, bless your heart, right? And it's like, also, I wouldn't be too surprised to learn like, you know, this was a practice this agency engaged in the past that they would be absolutely appalled by now. So I'm like, I mean, it was a different time, but I'm like, the agency should now be releasing the records, right? Certainly to the people who participated, and certainly to anyone who has a twin out there who doesn't know about it. You know what I mean? That seems very fair to me. And so I think that's where it gets a little icky. Also, so when the parents went in for that meeting where the guy was like, we would have gladly adopted all three in a heartbeat. One of the parents is like, forgot his umbrella in the room they were in, you know, because they just met with the adoption people or whatever. And he's like, oh, I forgot my umbrella, I'll go back. He goes back and discovers, you know, they're all in this room, like drinking champagne and celebrating. And he's like, it's like they, you know, got away with something. After we left, you know, he was like, they were celebrating. And he was like, I think what they were kind of saying is like, look, these were just like normal average people who were involved in this. And they didn't really know any better as far as like, you know, they're not gonna sue somebody. They didn't really know. That's not who they were. They were pretty normal people. And so, but you know, it makes it seem like this adoption company was like, oh, we really dodged a bullet there. And it's because the reason they dodged the bullet is because the parents didn't know about the twin study angle. Oh shit. And by the way, the twin study angle was covered up because they had people come and like visit the babies and the twins when they were young several times, right? But what they told the parents was that this was a study of kids who had been adopted. They didn't tell them the twin part. So anyway, that was also gross because it was like, I'm gonna hit you. Knuckle fest. Knuckle fest. Okay. Bowser's blazing beats. The last icky part though was there was like this lady, this very old, I don't know if she was Dutch or German or something. I'm not an expert on accents, but was like interviewed. And she was, well, okay, they start the interview, and I'm like, oof, this is not, she doesn't come off well at the beginning, because it starts the interview, she's like in probably a retirement community or something, and she's giving a little tour of her house, and she's got a bunch of pictures of her with Michelle Obama, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton and stuff, and I was like, oh god, like don't show this movie to anyone who's conservative and conspiracy minded because they're gonna lose their shit, right? What is happening? What do I do? Damn it. And so she's like, oh, here's me with Michelle Obama, and here's me with Barack Obama. And she's like, oh, yes, Michelle Obama's very tall. And you're like, all right, like, what is this bitch doing? Turns out she was the research assistant for the twin study. And so she's like, oh, and she's like what was the head researcher like? Oh, he was very handsome and, you know, very attractive and whatever. And you see pictures of him and you're like, okay, lady. But, you know, and she just thinks he's like the greatest. And she seems to feel no guilt about her part in it, right? Now there's another guy later who's similar, but I would say he's like, he was kind of like, I don't know if I feel very much guilt about it, but you know, he was like, I was a research assistant who worked on it for like 9 months out of the 10 years. And he's like, I was 24 years old. It was my first job. And you know, the closest I could be to agreeing with these folks is like, well, you know, it was a pretty big deal, this study, right? Because they're like, we had a way to try and prove whether nature or nurture determined who we are. And I think the old lady, though, is like, because towards the end, they kind of ask everybody involved, like, well, what do you think should happen? Like, should they contact all the twins and be like, you were part of this study? And she's like, well, she's kind of the only one who's like, maybe not. Because she's like, well, you know, it could be protecting the twins, because maybe they aren't ready to hear that they were part of this. Like, maybe the emotional trauma of finding out they were studied like this would be worse than just never knowing. And you're like, yeah, but it's the kind of, I think, paternalism that, you know, maybe science used to be more into that I hope it's not as into anymore, which is like, well, maybe you're right. Like, maybe they would be happier, but the problem is that's not your choice to make. You have to let them make that choice as the unwitting participants. By doing this to them without their consent and permission, you kind of took away their ability to make a decision. It's sort of how I feel about a lot of things, which is like when people try to justify stuff. I'm going to give you an example I use a lot, which is our friend Aaron Rodgers in the NFL, right? Didn't get COVID vaccine even though everyone in the NFL was supposed to. Now, regardless of how you feel about the vaccine, because either you took it or you're dumb, the thing is, in some circles, he's kind of heralded as this, like, brave guy, right? Because he's like, didn't just do something because the NFL told him to. And where I have fundamental disagreement with that is like, well, if he was a brave guy, you know, and that's the standard we're going by, the problem is he didn't tell anyone. So it's not like he was standing up for his rights. He was doing something without telling anybody. And the problem there is there are other people involved. So everyone he played with and everyone who worked for the organization he was a part of and, you know, everyone he played against, it was like, well, listen, if you're not going to get the vaccine and you're just, and, you know, the NFL and the Chiefs, whoever the fuck he played for, the Buccaneers, if they're going to say, that's fine, we're still going to let you play, the thing you got to do is you got to tell everybody else. Because when you don't tell anyone else, what you've done is removed their opportunity to make their own decision. You know, you selfishly made a decision. And, you know, like, I don't agree with that decision, but whatever. You made it. Here we are. But what you've done is you've not allowed everybody else that you work and play with to make their same decision. And I think that's where I find it to be not so much a brave, like, you know, big step, and more of like a cowardly bullshit scenario. And, you know, to me, like, what he did is a little bit like cheating on your spouse. And it's like, okay, you cheated on your spouse, but then, and I'm not someone who's, like, deluded enough to be like, the problem isn't cheating, the problem is lying. No, the problem is definitely the cheating. But if you cheat on your spouse, you have to tell them, because then they get to make a decision about whether or not this relationship continues or what it looks like in the future. And if you don't tell them, you're being a total asshole, because what you've done is you've taken away someone's choice. You got to make a choice to cheat, or you did make a choice to cheat, and you're taking away their choice as far as what they're gonna do to react to that. And that's extremely unfair. And that's kind of what Aaron Rodgers did as far as when he didn't get the vaccine. Not by not getting the vaccine, but by lying and said he did get the vaccine. And you know, what he did was try to get off on a technicality and be like, well, I'm inoculated, because he was like, well, I'm taking vitamin D or whatever. And you're like, okay. So, you know, he tried to cheat, basically, and be like, well, you know, technically I didn't say this. And that's the thing, is I'm like, well, he's being a coward, because he's trying to say he's trying to get out of not doing it, but he's not doing it. And I was like, well, if he wasn't a coward, what he would do is say, I'm not taking it. I'm never going to take it. So, you know, and whatever the consequences of that may be, I'll live with that, you know, because I would rather live with those consequences than get a vaccine. That will probably save lives and is perfectly safe and will cause me no harm.
Bye-bye.
So anyway, rewinding it all the way back to that lady, I'm like, yeah, I mean, maybe it would be traumatizing for people to find out that they had, you know, a sibling that they never knew about until they were like 50. But that's not your choice to make. Just like it's the cheated on spouses, it's their choice to make whether or not to continue or do whatever, like what they want to do about it. And just like it should be Aaron Rodgers' teammates' choice to decide what they want to do. Epic Wonder, Bowser's Rage Stage. This looks like a Rammstein concert, and I'm all about it. I would love to go see them. I'm not even like the hugest, 5-star? I'm not even the hugest fan musically. I mean, I like it. But, you know, I would recognize like 3 songs, 4. But they just have such an elaborate, over-the-top stage show that I'm like, yeah, that would be amazing. Ah! 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 Well, that takes care of that. Ah. Well, that didn't work. That was poorly conceived. Okay. Answers my first question. What happens when I hit these guys? I don't think I can be behind this ball, so... He looks friendly. This seems fine. This is very Falcor. Yoshi Falcor action. Who doesn't like that? This is what a good, like, Mario Last Stage should be, is like a combination of all the things that have led up to it, you know what I mean? Get a little bit of this, a little bit of that. He's too embarrassed to sing if I look at him. Ah! Oh, okay. I'm floating. I agree. Long, strange trip, as they say. Ah! Feels like a showdown stadium-ish coming up. People love in like a post-apocalyptic story. It's like always, every time they're like, let's put him in the arena and see, you know. I don't know where that came from. It's like maybe from Conan? Is like the earliest example of it I can think of? Whoa. Okay, so it had to teach me how to use this. I'd like to make a concert game called Escape from Red Rocks. You just saw a great concert, but now you've got to leave Red Rocks. That's the part they never show you on Instagram. Very Rammstein. Rammstein. No idea what I'm doing. When's it gonna let me spring into the air? Okay. Damn it. Ah! It's weird that this turned into a rhythm game at the end here. I see. He's like way in the background, huh? Ah, come on. This is quite a long Bowser fight. Uh-oh. Oh, Christ. Eh? The final blow? What-do? Oh no! My brain! Did we do it? I think we done it. Ho, ho, ho. Hello. This seed is gonna be royal. Ta ta. I think we fixed the Flower Kingdom. That's what it's called. Chugga, 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 chugga. Now look, everything's beautiful. We saved the environment. Ten, 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 ten. So I get to control this. So I'm having some fun. I don't know if this has any purpose other than trying to get a high score, but that's fine. See if you can beat this high score, chumps. All you chumps out there. This is probably the greatest high score that's ever been achieved on this, so... you know, hate to be the killer of dreams of whoever's battling it out. Wasn't expecting that. Ah! I wonder if this does absolutely anything. I wonder if you can find out, like, how many stages you're missing, you know? Gotta be a fair number. So yeah, overall, the triplet movie, it was good. It was interesting. You feel for them, because yeah, what people did to them wasn't right. I think, you know, there is one more aspect of it, which is like, turns out that, you know, their mother suffered from some pretty serious mental illness, which also they all shared. Which was really interesting, too, because you're like, this mental illness has been inherited genetically. I think, here's the thing. I guess the friendliest thing I could say to the researchers of the time is, like, I think that the difference is, at that time, like in the 50s and the 60s, genetic research was nothing like what it is and what it can be today. So I think we can answer a lot more of these questions about genetics and stuff. That old lady who's like the research assistant, you know, monster, was like, she was like saying that, you know, the research should be released, but she's like, people aren't ready for it because people don't like to find out that, you know, that basically their entire life is predetermined and it doesn't matter what happens or what you do, you're going to end up a certain way just because of your genetic predetermination. But I don't really think that's true. I mean, I'm a cynical person and I'm a realist, and if that were true, I wouldn't be like opposed to the idea. I think your genetics determine a lot, but I don't think they completely determine your path. And I think it's sort of thrown into contrast because one of the triplets really has some pretty harsh mental illness consequences, and the other two don't. And, you know, in the movie, they're basically like, what was the difference? And it was like they had different parents. And the one who had the really rough consequences had a father who was kind of a stern disciplinarian who was probably doing his best at the time. and, you know, not outside of what one would expect of a parent of that era, but I've earned a medal. That makes 1. The courses you haven't found yet are now displayed as question mark on the courses screen. The Poplin shop has new badges for sale. All right. So let's see. Let's see how many stages we have yet to finish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62. So we've still got quite a bit to do. I did for sure want to do Special World, but I think this one is probably worth going through and trying to get the stuff, because it is the end. But also, okay, I wanted to check for sensor. Detect significant items nearby, such as wonder flowers or 10 flower coins. So I have this. And see, I haven't found all the badges yet. But I've got this, which could help me if I'm like going through and trying 10 times to find something. To get it. And a lot of these stages, I'm guessing. What's funny is it looks like I was more likely to get the coins on the end stages, like to completely complete them, which is probably because they were less hidden and more just difficult to get, which is more my bag on these games. Anyway, not quite done here, but I don't anticipate this being a super long day's journey into night. So we'll see you next time. We'll do some cleanup on this and kind of see how it goes. Thanks for watching, though. You know, we're getting close here. We're knocking on the end of Mario's door. We'll see you next time.